What's up, guys? This is Ty Zen. I'm broadcasting from the Ponderosa Steakhouse in an area called Paraíso. It's south of the Jardín Botánico in the city of San Juan on the island of Puerto Rico, which is located in the southeast part of the United States of America. It's a U.S. territory. With me today, I have Eric, our community manager. Say hello, Eric.
Hey guys.
Right. So we just had lunch here, and I just wanted to talk to you guys about the 7 nasty mistakes that I made with the Ripple cryptocurrency, or the Ripple project. Okay. So let's run down the list here. I made a list here in front of me. That's right. So I'm not going to go over the technical stuff about just having a discussion with Eric, and I just want you guys to listen in. So I'm not going to go over like the technical details. Ripple is a payment platform. It's a protocol. It's a payment network so that banks can transfer money from one bank to the other, right? Just like the Bitcoin network allows us to transfer value and tokens from me to you, except it's designed for institutions and businesses, right? So I heard about Ripple since we've all been into crypto, but I never suggested or talked about it much because of these 7 mistakes. So the first mistake was that it's a centralized blockchain. So I made the mistake thinking that it's a centralized blockchain, so no one's ever gonna use that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you use that for when you can use like Bitcoin or something, or Ethereum or one of the other networks? And the mistake that I made there was that thinking that a banking institution, a financial institution in America, would actually go out and use a decentralized network. Like, that's just, banks are so heavily regulated in the US, and all the financial institutions, they are so heavily regulated. They're the most like regulated industry in America, next to healthcare and next to the energy. So those 3 industries are extremely regulated in America. And because of that, there's no reason for me to think that the banking and the financial institutions would actually use a decentralized blockchain. There's no way that they would take that kind of risk, okay? Which leads us to the second nasty mistake I made about analyzing Ripple, was that Ripple, and by the way guys, I'm not talking a lot about the technology behind Ripple. There's a bunch of other YouTubers out there that you can go and look for technical details, and you can go research that on their website. I think that we've gotten to the point now where the market is so flooded with people analyzing different cryptocurrency projects that I think it's more important that you guys learn from us the mistakes that we made versus just technical details that anyone else, any average YouTuber out there that just started buying their first Bitcoin a couple months ago can analyze. You know, we've been in this game for over 4.5 years now, and I think that the analysis that we make on it is more important than the technical information, okay? So that's why I'm not covering any technical details about Ripple. But the second thing is that, you know, Ripple, you know, the second mistake that we made was that the failure to see that banks need a regulated blockchain, and on top of having a centralized blockchain that they can go see. You know, I think that the other mistake we made was that we didn't see that there's no way that the banks can go and use an unregulated platform or network or protocol. Like, there's no way that they can report to the SEC, which is the law enforcement, and the CFTC and FINRA. Those are all the organizations that are in charge of regulating the financial markets in the US and setting the laws for it and stuff. And there's no way that they can go answer to those regulators that they are using a unregulated protocol or an unregulated blockchain. You know what I'm saying? So like the company Ripple Labs that makes the Ripple protocol, they actually are making an effort to make sure that their platform, their Ripple network, is compliant with US financial laws. So that if the banks go use it, they can ask the CEO of Ripple or the representatives of Ripple and say, hey, are you guys doing this to make sure it's in compliant with this US law? And the people at Ripple Labs can actually answer, go yes or no, and if not, then they can make it so that it's compliant, or they can make an effort to do it. And the mistake that I made was that to think that the banks were actually going to go use like the Bitcoin network or the Ethereum network when there's nobody that you can go to. There's no CEO, there's no marketing, there's no sales rep for Bitcoin or for Ethereum that you can go talk to see, and to make sure that it's compliant with US laws, or to make sure that it can become compliant with US laws so that banks can use it. So that was a second mistake there.
There needs to be a regulatory body.
Say what?
There needs to be a regulatory body.
Well, yeah, the SEC and the CFTC and FINRA, that's what their responsibilities are in America, is to regulate financial institutions and banks. But if you build a technology, the technology has to be compliant with those agencies. So Bitcoin and Ethereum and popular blockchains like that, even though they're open source, they're public, and they're much more secure and stuff like that, the reality is that banks are not going to be able to use that simply because it's not regulated. And there's no person there at a Bitcoin or at Ethereum that you can go talk to and say, hey man, can you guys do this so that we can use it so that we're in compliant with US financial regulations? Make sense? Nobody, even if you and I own the bank, we're not going to go and use a network and risk losing our bank, and we'll lose our bank license or bank charter. We're not going to lose that. So that's why we're not going to go do that. We're going to go use a network that, even if we know that it's centralized, right, we're still going to go use that because it's better, because it does what we need it to do, which is to clear and settle transactions quickly across the borders and between institutions and businesses. So because of that, they're gonna, as long as it does that, they don't care if it's decentralized or not. Make sense? So the next thing is, the third mistake that I made with Ripple is the low price. Not recognizing that when someone comes in, the low price that it has a huge factor, because psychologically, humans have this unit bias, right? When they see that Bitcoin is $19,000, $20,000, or Ripple is a penny, less than a penny, it's easier for the humans that don't know trading and don't know crypto investing. It's easier for them to go in and say, hey, I'm gonna throw $100 at Ripple, and if it hits $1,000, I'll be a millionaire or whatever, right? So in psychology or in math or whatever you call it, right? They call it a unit bias, and then those amateur traders and investors that are coming into crypto, they don't know that if you take the entire supply of Ripple, which is like a gazillion tokens out there, if you aggregate it all and look at the value of it, the price of, if you extrapolate it and you configure it so that it has 21 million token supply like Bitcoin, then the price of each of those tokens would almost be equal to or greater than the price of each Bitcoin token. And the public doesn't see that. So because of that, right, they see that it's a low cost, so they're running out there and they're just getting it. Make sense? Okay. So that's the third nasty mistake, right? So the fourth nasty mistake that I made was that, Ripple has a figurehead for the media. So what that means is that if Bloomberg or CNBC or MSN Money or any media organization wants to talk about the project and wants more information about the project or wants to do a report on it, they can go to Ripple Labs and ask their marketing officer or their CEO, anybody that works there or their sales reps there, to talk about the Ripple project. Whereas with Bitcoin, if Bloomberg wants to talk about Bitcoin, who are they going to go talk to? There's no CEO of Bitcoin.
They don't have any face or representative.
Yeah, there's no representative, there's no figurehead that you can go talk to and be able to get accurate information and say that, oh, you know what, you, Eric, you're the CEO of Bitcoin. We want to talk to you and interview you on our news channel about Bitcoin. Like, there's nobody to do that. Okay? So with Ripple, there's a CEO, and the traditional media, the traditional companies, they understand that. If they want to know how to use Ripple, they just contact the CEO of Ripple Labs. Hey, we want to become a customer. Hey, we want to use your technology. There's a point of contact. there's a figurehead that you can go to and know that you're going to get reliable information about their project, right? Whereas with Bitcoin, there's no figurehead. Make sense? So because of that, there's no. So that was the other mistake. The fifth mistake is that I made about Ripple was that I did not recognize that the public trusts a blockchain project that has partnered with somebody that's reputable. And what I mean by that is that, a lot of people people contact us. I mean, you answer their emails, dozens of emails every day about people that want us to come onto their crypto project or their ICO as advisors. Why do they want to do that? They're doing that because they want to borrow my reputation and leonfu.com's reputation and our channel's reputation to be able to put our name on their project so that it seems trustworthy to the public, because we were the first and the original channel to talk about cryptocurrency trading and investing that I know of, right? For the last 4.5 years now, the public, the crypto community trusts me and Leon. So because of that, a lot of ICO projects want to offer us money to be advisors in their projects and stuff, and that's why they call you up, and email you every day. Now, when they see Ripple partnering up with like American Express credit card or with Santander Bank, which is the 7th largest bank in the world, they own like over $100 trillion in assets. The number's so big, I can't even think of numbers that big, right? But when the public sees that, out of 1,300 cryptocurrencies,
I'm gonna leave you guys with the other waitress, all right?
All right.
Anything you need, you ask her, all right?
All right, cool deal. Thank you. So the mistake that I made was that I did not recognize that if investors, if the general public, if they want to invest into a project, they're probably going to trust, out of 1,300 cryptocurrency projects, they're going to trust the project that was chosen by American Express or by Santander Bank. They're not going to go choose a project that has not been accepted or been used by a major company in the world, a recognized brand.
It adds massive credibility.
Yeah, it adds massive credibility to it. That's why that's why I freaking was stupid and didn't recognize that. You know what I'm saying? There's no way that if even if you have a shitty blockchain, even if you have a shitty, crappy technology blockchain, but Amex, American Express, or Visa and MasterCard chose to partner with you and not with me, it doesn't matter how good my technology is to the public. The public sees that you were the one that was chosen and not me. So that's all they see. And I made that mistake, So the sixth mistake was that because Ripple has a CEO, they have a company, and then they're on CNBC, they're on Bloomberg, and they have a very low price point, and they have partnered with American Express and Santander Bank and all these other financial institutions around the world, and they're being used by these financial institutions. It's easier for someone who buys Ripple to recommend it to their friend. Hey dude, just drop $500 or $100 in this. It's only a penny, or it's only $1, or it's only a quarter of a penny or half of a penny. Like what do you have to lose? It's a lot easier for one Ripple holder, if someone that's holding a Ripple token, to recommend that to their friend, because at least they can say, hey man, American Express is using them, Santander Bank is using them, right? People feel a lot more comfortable recommending that to other people. If you remember when you and I were first evangelizing Bitcoins 4 years ago, what did we were telling them? Hey, Overstock was using Bitcoin, Dell Computers was using Bitcoin, and we were naming all these.
It's only $200 or $300.
Yeah. So does that make sense? We're comfortable recommending something when we know that big name companies are behind it or using it. So because of that, that was the sixth mistake that I made, is that not realizing that, or not recognizing that it's easier to recommend a friend or a family member or a coworker to invest into Ripple than it is other cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, they remove the normal friction that you might have in recommending something by making it easy.
Yeah, Yeah. So the seventh and the last nasty mistake that I made with Ripple, my Ripple analysis, and this is just a stupid, just freaking bonehead mistake I wish that I would, stop making, is that I was being a biased trader. I was not being neutral. You and I know, we've been trading for a long time, that to be a successful trader, you cannot be attached to any cryptocurrency, any stock, any futures, any oil, any precious metals, nothing. You just have to be neutral and go and let the charts tell you where to go. And there were many times in the last 4 years where I saw Ripple was in a very good buy area and I didn't buy it because of the other 6 biases and mistakes that I made. So in my mind, I was already made up in my mind that, hey, Ripple is centralized, no one's ever gonna use it, it's stupid. If a bank is gonna use a blockchain, why wouldn't they use something that is open source, decentralized, like Bitcoin or Ethereum, and have a much safer network? It's already existing. It's, it just, because of that bias, I could not remain as a neutral trader. And because of that, don't get me wrong, I still made a ton of money from trading Ripple, okay? But I could have made so much more. Instead of what I made, I could have made, several hundred times more if I didn't if I was being an unbiased, and there was only one thing that caused me to be biased about Ripple, and that was because of the fact that the blockchain was centralized. That one key factor just threw me off and derailed me completely. And that's why, the situation with the civil war going on with Bitcoin Core and Bitcoin Cash and all these other Bitcoin Gold, Bitcoin Diamond, Bitcoin Private, the new one that's about to come out, I don't pay attention. I try to be neutral about it because I don't want to make the same mistake that I made with Ripple and miss out on a multi-100x opportunity.
Yeah, it's not for you to decide the coin's potential. It's for the market to decide. Yeah, it's just for you to analyze what probability the market is going to.
Exactly. Yeah, my job as a trader, and our job as a trader, and your job as a trader, right, is to control the risk. Bet only a small amount that you can afford to lose, and then when you're wrong, you just take that small loss and you move on to the next crypto or the next stock or the next precious metal, right? And then if you're right, then do you have a method to emotionally capture that big winner? And since you know me, you've always heard me saying that the 2 keys that makes you a trader or not is, 1 is knowing how to size your bets correctly in different scenarios, and number 2 is a method to emotionally capture big winners when you're right. When you're wrong, you just get out and take that small loss and move on. When you're right, how do you capture that whole, a big chunk of that trend when it's moving up? You know what I'm saying? So, but that's what I wanted to share with you guys there, the 7 nasty mistakes that I made analyzing Ripple, and that cost me several hundreds of X's in multiples of returns and probably a few $1 million. It's not to be taken lightly. So that's why I'm sharing that with you guys as one of the Typhoon mistakes that we made on our team. So we do make mistakes too. We're not perfect here, guys, on the team. But the times that we're right, we profit significantly more than the times that we're wrong.
The problems with being biased is you don't always recognize when you're doing it.
Yeah.
So as much as we try to remain neutral, we need a system of checks and balances in place.
Yeah.
Which is something that we continue to evolve with.
Yeah, and that's why right now, like whenever I see the analysis on the charts and I see that it's a good buying opportunity, I could care, like if it's as long as the token is not a scam or something or a fraud or just outright bullshit, then I'll consider it. You know what I'm saying? So, all right, guys, just wanted to share those 7 bonehead mistakes that I made with analyzing Ripple in the last few years. That cost me millions of dollars. And I hope that you guys learn from it. Remember to be a neutral trader, investor. You don't want to be attached to any crypto. Don't have a pet crypto or a pet rock or be emotionally attached to it. You're here to make money. You're not here to be a fanboy. You're not here to be a diehard cult follower of that coin. You're here to make money. Okay, I'm here to make money to feed my family and take care of my son and my daughter and my dog, that lives in South Carolina. It's not even my dog, it's my in-law's dog, and I have to take care of it. Anyway, it's a good dog. But All right, guys, thanks for watching this video. And if you guys like to learn more about the typhoon mistakes that we make on our channel, make sure that you go to www.cryptocurrency.market/newsletter and subscribe to us there. And you can also subscribe to and follow me on Twitter at HeyTaiZen. So it's spelled just like you hear it, at HeyTaiZen. And I'll see you guys in the next video.